Imagine being born healthy, growing faster than almost any animal on Earth, and then becoming so heavy that your own legs can no longer support your body. Now imagine that this isn't happening to a few animals. It's happening to billions of chickens every single year. In modern industrial farming, broiler chickens, the birds raised specifically for meat, grow at such an extraordinary rate that many develop serious mobility problems before they're even 6 weeks old. Some struggle to stand. Some limp constantly. And many spend most of their lives sitting down because walking becomes painful. But how did this happen? Why are chickens growing so fast that their bodies literally can't keep up? And what does this tell us about the hidden cost of cheap chicken? Let's find out. 100 years ago, chickens looked very different. A typical chicken raised for meat in the 1920s took around 4 months or more to reach market weight. These birds were smaller, leaner, and much more active. They spent their days scratching the ground, searching for food, and moving around freely. Their skeletons and muscles developed gradually, keeping pace with their body weight. But then the poultry industry changed. As demand for chicken increased around the world, farmers and breeding companies began searching for ways to produce more meat in less time. The goal was simple. Grow bigger chickens faster. And over decades, selective breeding transformed the bird completely. Today's commercial broiler chicken is one of the fastest-growing animals ever created through selective breeding. A chick weighing about 40 grams at birth can reach more than 2.5 kilograms in just 6 weeks. That's an increase of over 60 times its original body weight. To put that into perspective, it would be like a human baby growing to the size of an adult elephant before starting elementary school. This growth isn't caused by genetic engineering. It's mainly the result of decades of selective breeding. Breeding companies repeatedly chose birds that grew the fastest, converted feed into muscle most efficiently, and produced the largest breast meat yields. Generation after generation, those traits became stronger. The result is a chicken designed for maximum meat production. But there's a problem. While muscle growth accelerated dramatically, the rest of the body didn't always keep up. The skeleton of a chicken still has biological limits. Bones require time to develop strength and density. Joints need time to adapt to increasing weight. Ligaments and tendons need time to stabilize the body. But modern broiler chickens gain weight so rapidly that these systems often struggle to keep pace. Imagine carrying a backpack that becomes heavier every single day. Now imagine your muscles and bones only get a little stronger while the weight keeps increasing. Eventually, something starts to fail. For many broilers, that failure happens in the legs. The birds develop conditions such as skeletal deformities, joint problems, and bone disorders. Their legs begin supporting a body that has become disproportionately large. Especially the chest. Modern broilers have extremely large breast muscles because consumers prefer white meat. This shifts the bird's center of gravity forward, placing additional stress on its legs and joints. The result is instability, discomfort, and difficulty walking. Numerous studies have found high rates of gait abnormalities in commercial broiler chickens. Researchers often use gait scoring systems to evaluate how well birds walk. A healthy bird should move normally and comfortably. But many commercial broilers develop varying degrees of lameness. Some walk with a noticeable limp. Others move only short distances. And some become almost incapable of walking at all. Researchers and animal welfare organizations have repeatedly documented widespread mobility issues among fast-growing broiler breeds. In many flocks, a majority of birds show some level of walking impairment by the time they reach slaughter age. This doesn't necessarily mean every bird is completely unable to walk. Rather, it means many experience difficulty, pain, or abnormal movement. And because billions of chickens are raised annually, even a small percentage translates into an enormous number of affected animals. The environment can make the problem even worse. Commercial broiler houses are designed to maximize efficiency. Thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, of birds are raised together in large indoor facilities. As chickens grow heavier, they naturally become less active. Walking requires energy. Standing becomes uncomfortable. Many birds spend increasing amounts of time sitting on the litter. Reduced movement leads to weaker muscles and poorer bone development. And weaker legs make movement even harder. It's a cycle that reinforces itself. The less a bird walks, the more difficult walking becomes. This can also increase the risk of skin lesions and other health problems caused by prolonged contact with the floor. At this point, you might wonder, why not simply raise slower-growing chickens? The answer comes down to economics. Fast-growing broilers require less feed per kilogram of meat produced. They reach market weight quickly. They occupy farm space for a shorter period. And they reduce production costs. For producers, even small improvements in efficiency can mean enormous financial savings when raising millions of birds. Consumers also play a role. Over the decades, people have come to expect abundant, inexpensive chicken. Chicken has become one of the cheapest sources of animal protein available in many countries. The system was optimized to meet that demand. But critics argue that animal welfare has sometimes been sacrificed in pursuit of maximum efficiency. The poultry industry is aware of these concerns. In recent years, some companies have begun adopting slower-growing breeds. Certain retailers and restaurant chains have introduced welfare standards that encourage birds with better mobility. Researchers are also working to improve genetics, housing conditions, nutrition, and management practices. The goal is to find a balance between productivity and animal welfare. However, the transition is complex. Slower-growing birds typically require more feed, more time, and more resources. That means higher production costs and potentially higher prices for consumers. As a result, the debate continues. How much efficiency should society be willing to sacrifice in order to improve animal welfare? There is no easy answer. So, why do so many commercial broiler chickens struggle to walk by 6 weeks of age? The answer lies in a remarkable but controversial achievement of modern agriculture. Through decades of selective breeding, chickens have been transformed into animals that grow extraordinarily fast. Their muscles gain weight at a pace their skeletons often struggle to support. The result is a bird that produces more meat than ever before, but frequently at the cost of mobility. It's a powerful reminder that when we optimize living creatures for efficiency, there can be unintended consequences. The next time you see a chicken sandwich, a bucket of wings, or a package of chicken breasts in the supermarket, remember. Behind that inexpensive meal is one of the most dramatically altered farm animals in human history. And the story of how it got there is still being written.